All right. Good morning, good morning. Looks like we're up and running. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Jason here with you. Wednesday, the 25th of August. Hopefully you're all awesome and well. A few people jumping on now, which is good. Give us a shout out when you're there, just to know everything's going well. If you can hear me and see me, say hello in the chat. There we go. Good morning, Corrine. First cab off the rank. Good morning. Great to see you. I'll do the quick intros while everyone's jumping on. Things are warming up. Welcome back to all of the regulars. Yasmin, Sharon. Hey, Sharon. Jimmy, Arnie, Laura, Brendan, Tony. Good to see you guys. Tanya. Hey, morning hump day. Yeah. Happy hump day indeed. Wednesday, we're on the hill. Hey, I've got a public holiday this week up here in the Gold Coast. So I'm pretty happy. Friday will be a chill day. Hopefully wherever you are, you can find a bit of time to chill out yourself, whatever you're up to. Hey, listen, like I said, welcome to the regulars. DJ, David, Nick and Alison. Thanks for joining us as always. You guys always coming back. Great to have you guys here supporting what we get up to each morning. For those who are new, give us a shout out in the chat. Tell us you're new. Tell us maybe it's your first time here. Jason Whitten is my name. Been property investing over 20 years and coaching property investors across Australia and New Zealand since 2003. And through our coaching and mentoring business, Positive Real Estate, along the way, done a few deals, learned a few things, got a few bits of experience that we like to share, get together with a few crazy crew just like you in the mornings, Monday to Friday, and share a little bit of, the wisdom. So wherever you are, if you're new, if you're coming back for the umpteenth time, welcome. Fantastic to have you here and awesome to hang out. Hey, today I want to talk about proximity, and a few of you guys might have heard this one before, but it's always good to have a little reminder on these things. And if you haven't heard proximity before, that's good. The idea that wealth is created because of proximity when it comes to us and our property investment portfolio is super important to understand. And it's a fundamental that hangs around for quite a long time. Matter of fact, forever. Proximity is profit when it comes to your wealth. And that doesn't mean if you don't have the perfect proximity, you'll never be creating the wealth that you desire. No, that's not true. However, you must understand the principle and make good decisions based on, what you're looking for when it comes to your property investment portfolio. So let me give you the overview. Let me dive in and have a bit of a look at what I mean by the proximity. The proximity, let's do this. The proximity, I think that's a bit hard to see, to be honest. Let me change a bit of color here. The proximity, let's do green. The proximity of profit. The proximity of profit, team. And a few of you guys may have seen this one before, but the idea that when we invest in a piece of real estate, we get to choose the distance from a piece of infrastructure or something desirable that we want our properties to be located next to. Chuck it in the chat for me now. What type of proximity to what is important when it comes to the profit and your portfolio? Chuck it in the chat. What do you think? Tell me what you guys think the proximity to something special, important, interesting, whatever it might be, would add value to your wealth or value to your income. Right, that's good. Corrine says train lines. That's awesome. And we would sort of say transport, right? Transport, which in train lines, bus, maybe the ferry, etc., etc. Pratesh, Sharon, onto it. Employment hubs, okay? Jobs. Sometimes you want to be closer to those employment hubs. People like to work to town. The CBD, all right? a lot of young professionals prefer to sort of maybe catch the train or the bus and go in, right? Which is awesome. Third spaces, dead right, Alison. Parklands, rivers, those sorts of things. Infrastructure and schools. Schools is a brilliant one. Nick, there's some amazing stories, team, about people paying $100,000 more to be in a school catchment zone, a school zone, which is a pretty interesting one, right? Education. Education for sure, right? Which is kind of a dovetail into schools, but education like universities as we go, and hospitals for sure. Hospitals. But if you have a look at this, sort of hospitals can dovetail into CBD and jobs as we go along. And the beach, things that people like to do. Sam talks about the triangle of wellness and wealth, live, work, and play. If you can get these, let's do another color. If you can get sort of these contained in kind of like the live, work and play zone, and often the concept is about this 20 minutes to these live, work and play zones as you go. More shopping for sure, Tanya and Pritesh. Absolutely. Infrastructure. Infrastructure is a brilliant one, all right? So where are the new shopping centres and the new job hubs and the transport lines and so on, okay? So that's fantastic. The challenge team is, we all know this really well. It would be great, wouldn't it be great to be, just dropped my pen. Wouldn't it be great to be at the beach, right next to the walking distance to all the shops, walking distance to Dan Murphy's. Yeah, you might be right there, Pritesh, about Dan Murphy's. Waterfront views. Wouldn't it be good to walk to school, the beach, walk to your job, walk to all the shops, walk to Dan Murphy's, etc. What's the challenge with that team? Having all the perfect education, beach, transport, jobs, all within walking distance, are all on your doorstep. What's the challenge when it comes to us as property investors? Okay, the challenge a lot of the time becomes what is our budget or our buying power, okay? So the price that might be for you, Bunnings for a snag. Listen, I go to Bunnings every weekend. I love Bunnings. Bunnings and the Apple Store and JB Hi-Fi. They're my three favourite stores. There's not a weekend that goes by without me divesting a little bit of my money into one of those stores, or maybe sometimes all of them all in one weekend. And Sushi Train. I like Sushi Train. Anyway, so let's talk about this. Availability of great stock. You're dead right, Pritesh. That's the challenge. And also the budget for that stuff. So let's talk about this proximity of profit. What does it look like? If you want to buy a house, and let's talk about this right now, affordability, absolutely, Nick. Let's talk about this right now. Let's talk about it in Melbourne right now. Tell me, if you wanted to be close to the CBD or the beach in Melbourne right now, how much would it cost you to buy a house in Melbourne right now? Chuck it in there. Just a regular straight 80 house, maybe 1 to 5 kilometres from the CBD of Melbourne. What would be the price, team, of a house in Melbourne? Okay, we're going to do this with, this is the 1 to 5, this is the 10 to 15, and this is the 25 to 40k mark. All right, Brendan, I think that's a bit cheap, 800k, but you're looking at $1.5 to $3 million. So let's just call it $2 million for argument's sake. $2 million for a house, team. A house in Melbourne in Melbourne, 1 to 5 kilometres from the, 1 mil for a knockdown if you're lucky, all right? Let's just call it 2 mil, you want to live there. Nick, you can absolutely spend 4 million every day of the week. But yeah, we're, so this is the challenge. So right now we know that's a great location. It's great for proximity, but do you have the budget for a $2 million house? And quite frankly, a $2 million house in Melbourne, you probably rent it for $1,200 a week. That's a 3% yield if you're lucky, maybe a 2.5% yield. It's not great cash flow. So as we go out from here, 10 to 15K away, let's talk, it's probably $1 million, probably a bit more than $1 million. And then 25 to 40K away, you're looking at 600K, okay? So what happens is the distance from the proximity of the jobs, the transport, the whatever it might be, we tend to have to pay more money to be closer for a house, or we have to go further away. What's the other choice? What is the other choice we have? Instead of a house then, what do we trade or what do we exchange if the proximity, if the infrastructure, the jobs, the CBD, the schools, the hospitals is an important part of your choice right now? What do we change? What do we trade? What do we say this is more important than that? Or we mix it up a little bit. If we're looking here and we're saying, all right, well, instead of a house, I might invest in, that's a terrible drawing, but anyway, I might land size. Yes, Sharon, we exchange land size. And land size to the point, team, if you want to be closer to the city, if your budget is 600K, so you're going to be, 25 to 40K from the CBD for a house, okay? Or you can go 5K from the CBD and you can have an apartment. All right, an apartment / unit. Okay, so what we've done, and if you go further out, you'd probably get cheaper at 15K, and then 30K. I would never be buying an apartment, a million miles from the city unless it's something like a million miles from the city. If it's something like, a 2-bedroom apartment, all right? So I'd be going a house a long way away. Nick's saying, he's 40K from Melbourne, and his houses are booming there, which is great because it's pushing the city out, okay? It's pushing the city out. The further away you are from infrastructure, the harder it becomes for your rental income to grow significantly in value, team. So just remember that. The further you're away from this infrastructure, the less the rent grows. When you have a look at rent growth trajectories and statistics, the closer you are to that infrastructure, the better your rent grows over time. Okay, values might grow, and it's that ripple effect, team. Nick's experienced the ripple effect right now, and houses in Melbourne have just gone ballistic, blowing out all the way, which is fantastic. And COVID and other things and cheap interest rates are all accelerating that, and we're finding that in a number of places as well. But the further away we are from this infrastructure, our income into the future is the thing we need to remember is what we're going to live off as well. So if we're going to choose a budget, or we have a budget, then we have a choice. We exchange. If we want to be closer to infrastructure, often we need to exchange the type of property we're going to invest in or buy, or we have to change the location for the property and keep going until your budget can afford in that area, okay? And for me, there's no perfect answer to this one. I like to mix it up. You guys have heard us talk about the idea of diversification before. I like the idea of making sure every investor has at least 3 different locations in their property portfolio. And by locations, I mean 3 different states. 3 different states, okay? My preference right now is the East Coast. I love the East Coast. Strong cities, long-term value into the next 50 years every day of the week. And also, I like the idea of mixing up my investment portfolio. Some houses, some townhouses, some apartments for, not because of the ownership of them, because of this stuff here. I've got some great apartments in the city that have got amazing live, work, play stuff, and I've got some great houses outside of the city which are a little bit more suburban and backyard lawn mowy, right? So mix up your portfolio. So there you go, gang. The proximity of profit, hopefully that may make sense. Hopefully that made sense today. When you're thinking about your portfolio, how far from the infrastructure, the proximity of these things do you want to be? What's your budget? And what type of deal are you looking to do for the money, for the return, for the income, for whatever that might be? All right. So give you some things to think about in that sort of space. So hopefully that landed. Give us a shout out in the chat if you've got any other questions. I'll always read them after I finish the lives, and I might even answer them on the morrow or the next day. I'll write them down and make sure I get around to them. So that's it from me, team. Wealth coffee chat done and dusted. For the proximity of profit makes sense. Make sure you understand what it means to you and your property investment portfolio, the choices that you make. All right, team. That's it from me. Done and dusted. You guys have an awesome day. Stay safe and well wherever you are. Until next time, take care and bye for now. Bye-bye.